evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the invocation delivered by Johnny Keener. So please stand, please.
Holy Father God, in the name of Jesus we come. And Lord, at this meeting here tonight, we come and trust in you, Lord Jesus, that we lean not on our own understanding, but to acknowledge you in all thy ways. And Lord, we know that you will direct our path. And Lord, as we come together here this evening, Lord, we just pray now that to be with the council, be with the administration, and all that participate. And Lord, this day we thanking you. And Lord, may we not forget of our armed forces, far and near, Lord. We just ask thy hand of protection be upon them and the leaders of our great nation, as well as the Cherokee nation. And Lord, tonight as we come together, that we'll be here, and the things that we do here would be pleasing to you in all things. And Lord, again, we want to thank you for your love, kindness, and your long suffering for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Roll call, please.
Here.
Here. Here.
Mayor Skyler here. John Roberts.
Here.
Charles Hopkins.
Here.
Mary Jones.
Here.
John Keener.
Here.
Linda O'Leary. Here. Jacob Martin. Joanne Shophouse. David Thornton.
Present.
Phyllis Yarge. Here.
We have four. First item is the State of the Nation. I know you're stating Chad, but he's in Washington tonight, so you'll have to settle for me. And we want to welcome you, as always, to the Cherokee Council meeting. Appreciate you showing up and appreciate you caring about the Cherokee Nation. We had an open house at the Finance Center last week, and if you don't know where it's locating on the far side over here. It's a brand new facility, and a lot of the guys that work for us built the thing. So yeah, you need to go over there and look at it, see what a good job they did. We opened our casino at California. It has 211 machines. It's open 24 hours a day. It staffs about 73 people, including a 24-hour security staff. So when you get a chance, you can go over there and look at the new casino. We also had the soft opening of our great casino in Tucson. If you haven't been there to see that, you need to go. Oklahoma finally has a first-rate casino. It is not a bingo parlor, but a full-fledged casino. And I can attest for the food. The food is very good there, and it's reasonable. Incidentally, our casino costs $80 million, which is quite a bit, but once you see it, and once it starts generating the revenue for us, we will be glad that you came and be glad that we started that thing. It features a golf course, a gift shop, and a hotel. It has a sports bar, a piano bar, which I really like. I don't drink, but I like to go there and listen to the woman play the piano. Very nice. And if you haven't seen it, be sure to go to the casino at Tucson. In September, we celebrate the Cherokee National Holiday. And I want to thank every one of the volunteers and the staff. Because I know my wife said, don't say they work like dogs, but they did. They were out there making sure that we all had a good time. It was hot, but it was a very successful Cherokee holiday. And I want to thank the volunteers and the staff for all their work. And at the State of the Nation, we honored the Adair County Our Generation project for making its self-help housing project a reality. We presented U.S. Congressman Brad Carson with our Statesmanship Award. And we presented Perry and Kathy Van Busker with the Living Treasure Award. We also presented 4 medals of patriotism for Cherokees who gave their life in service to the United States and the Cherokee Nation. And those recipients were Sergeant Kyle Brindley, who died in Iraq, Fern Holland, who died in Iraq, Petty Officer Second Class Brian Moss,
Brian was at the Pentagon in 9/11 and perished at the Pentagon. And Lance Corporal Caleb John Powers, who died in Iraq. Also, over the Cherokee holiday weekend, we hosted our annual legislative retreat. It was a good opportunity to establish relationships with different and various organizations in the state and federal government. This year we had representatives from the Oklahoma Healthcare Authority, Bureau of Indian Affairs, Office of Environmental Justice, and Native American Caucus. U.S. Congressman Brad Carson's office and State Representative Barbara Staggs attended the retreat. We had a great response from those attending the retreat. Dr. Vince LaFonza of the National Indian Health Board was most impressed with our language and culture. And he said that he was most impressed with our language and cultural employment community vision because it directly impacts the health and well-being. He believes it could be a model for other tribes and non-native communities. The holiday also marks a new term for Miss Cherokee. Ashley, would you stand, please? The new Miss Cherokee. She's our new Miss Cherokee, and we look forward to working with her, and we believe she will do a good job. We would also say thank you to Raven Bruner, last year's Miss Cherokee. And I'm proud to announce that we will be attending the museum opening at the Smithsonian this next week. Our Cherokee Youth Choir will be there, and they have an offer to sing for the President and meet the President. So we're really proud of them. And I know if they go see the President, I get to go with them, so I'm proud. And we have more than 17,000 people that will march in the procession at the opening of the new museum. And also tonight, I've got my papers kind of crossed here, so bear with me, please. And also tonight we have a veterans presentation. And tonight, our veterans recognition, is Mr. Baker. Tim is, come down, please. Jim is the father of Bill John, our councilman, Don, and Tim Baker. Mr. Baker was a bombardier with the Naval Air Corps during World War II. He served 3 years and 6 months. He was in the Pacific and the Atlantic battlefield. Served in Europe and Japan. Mr. Baker can trace his Cherokee heritage way back. His great-great-grandmother, Walker, was 12 years old when she came to Oklahoma on the Trail of Tears. On the journey, both her parents died of pneumonia, and she came to settle in Lost City. And until the age of 6, she was raised by her grandmother, Nancy Jane Osage, who was a full-blood Cherokee. After the war, Mr. Baker attended Northeastern State University, served as a staff sergeant with the 45th Infantry Division, National Guard, and in his 40-plus years of working in education, he has been a teacher, a coach, a principal, superintendent, and a college teacher. For many years, Mr. Baker served as lay pastor for the Methodist Church. Mr. Baker is married to his lovely wife, Isabel, who was one of my teachers, I won't say how many years ago. And as I said, they have 3 children. Mr. Baker, it is a pleasure and an honor to present you with this citation of the Cherokee Nation. And thank you. Appreciate appreciate it, and we appreciate your service. Kim, this is yours, sir. Next awards we have are from the IHS, Indian Health Service. And these go to people who have served the Cherokees and Indian Health Service for many years. The first one, just like the Academy Awards, is Dr. Malabrigo. And accepting from Dr. Malabrigo, Dr. Gann. Dr. Malabrigo has been a surgeon with Indian Health Service in Hastings for 33 years. And this is his biggest award for 33 years of service, sir. And thank you for it. Next award is for Dr. Lewis for 25 years. Dr. Lewis has been a pediatrician at Hastings. There are very few babies that this man has spanked, I'll tell you. Thank you, Dr. Lewis. The next award is presented to Dr. Don Stuckey for 26 years of service to the Cherokee. I believe that concludes our awards ceremony. Let me get back to my post, and we will continue the meeting. Next item is approval of minutes. Move for approval. Second. Motion made, second. All approved, aye. Aye. All no. Minutes approved. The next item is the action of unfinished business. There being no unfinished business, we move to the next item. Committee report. Any committee reports on South County? First monthly report is Housing Authority. David Sullivan.
Good evening. Good to be here tonight. Have a really brief report tonight. At the last council meeting, I spoke to you all about a resolution the board had passed that would negatively impact a few of our employees by reducing their salary. Our two remaining commissioners, I've spoken to both of them late last week. They've asked me not to implement that until they have another chance to look at it. So that won't be implemented in October as previously just a couple other items. I was off last week, so I really don't know what's going on other than it's supposed to rest up, but I have a hard time staying awake back here. I don't know if I'll make it through Monday Night Football or not. But anyway, the Cherokee Nation began its annual assessment. They do this annually as part of the NAHASDA oversight. They began that today. Also, starting tomorrow, our auditors will begin their annual audit with some preliminary work, hoping to get that completed by mid-December to go along with the tribe's audit. So as you can see, since we're coming to the end of the fiscal year, we're going to be very busy with those type of things, issuing reports and what have you. That's my report. As I said, it was pretty brief tonight, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. Thank you.
David Stewart.
Good evening. I'm pleased to say that we had a successful opening of the casino in Catoosa, and I hope you all came out for that. It was quite an event, and I want to thank all of our employees. They worked extremely hard over the past several weeks. We had simulation training over the holiday, so many of them have not had a day off for more than a week or 10 days or so, so I want to thank them. And if you see them, please say that they've done a good job and pat them on the back. They've worked extremely hard. It's a facility that we all can be proud of, and I think the Cherokee Nation will be proud of in the years to come. Net income is holding a steady increase. Our net operating income is up 5% from this month last year. Net income is down compared to that month, however, due to some of the operating expenses and the pre-opening expenses that we incurred as a one-time expense. Year-to-date net income is approximately 20% above this month last year, so we're pleased with that result, and we will continue to have a record year as we approach our fiscal year in September 30th. There's an important question on the ballot coming up on November 2nd. It's State Question 712. It's vital that we all vote yes on that state question. It's good for Oklahoma, it's good for us, and it's good for education across the state. It gives us business certainty. We will know what kind of games we can play, and at the same time it preserves jobs in the racing industry and provides much needed funding to education. So encourage you to support that, and everyone listening, and encourage you to do it as well. Our Native American employment is at 71%. Our total employment is at 1,930 employees, up substantially from a couple of years ago. Our percentage is down about 5% overall, but we hired about 600 new employees, so overall I'm pleased. We will continue to work on that and try to up that percentage. That's my report tonight. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. We finally did, Counselor. We finally had to borrow a little bit of money, and but we're going to try to pay that back as soon as we can.
David, on the Boulevard Dam, have you stopped an innovation on that? I had a call today from somebody else wanting to know if it was started or when it'll be. And
actually, we have 2 or 3 phases of construction. The first phase was, and we've just completed that, and that's just to get some safety issues, the roof fixed, and just some cosmetic things and mechanical things that need to be done. At this time, we have a plan for the renovation that we will start the first week of November, and all the architectural drawings are being done for that and being prepared. So we're not going to spend additional monies on that until November.
And what was the amount we spent on that?
I think the total amount is approximately $2 million. Yes.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next is Cherokee Nation Industries. Mr. Jim Houston.
Good evening, Deputy Chief Grayson and members of the council. CNI sales for the month of August were $7.1 million. For the first 2 months of our new fiscal year, we're running about $13.6 million. This is about a 10% increase over the last year. Our bookings continue to be strong. We really don't anticipate any changes in the current CNI operations other than continuing to grow. The auditors, the CNI auditors, their auditors for taking a look at our last fiscal year is complete, and the initial results is that there does not seem to be any major issues, which we're pretty happy about. Our next board meeting is scheduled for September 30th at 9:30 a.m. in Stillwell, and this completes my report for CNI.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I get started in new business, I forgot to mention one of our employees, Barry Boomer, who is back from the Rock. I think he's home for a 2-week leave, and we would like to thank him for his service and wish him a speedy trip back home. Okay, now, new business.
Thank you. Before we get started, on our new business, there were some folks who are out front, asking for donations, and the prize may be, for that OU football ticket. If we could, we'd just like to take a moment to draw for that ticket, and be sure that she would draw for it. And this is for the, residents of the homeless coalition, and, we're gonna start trying to gather blankets and things for the winter to get ready, for the new facility.
Mr. Sam Bradshaw, who just left the room, has been very instrumental in bringing all of this together. We've been working for over a year, trying to coordinate some efforts on getting a men's homeless shelter in the area. There is a family shelter, there's women's shelter, but there's nothing for our men. Sam has been feeding in the park for several months, taking food to these homeless men, and so now we want to get it for the winner. And the winner is Marilyn G. from Grub Island, J Clinic. Marilyn Gillette. Thank you for everybody that participated.
Thank you.
First item of new business, a resolution authorizing the Cherokee Nation travel participation in the nationwide survey.
This is a resolution for a food nutrition grant for elder Indians who require further for grant applications.
Second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no? Motion passed. Second is a resolution authorizing the Family Services Department to submit an application. Ms. Shophouse.
This is a resolution authorizing the Family Assistance Department to submit an application to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for low-income home energy assistance, and the hope anticipated to receive $430,000 in federal funds, and there is no matching required. So put that on the
Motion made second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no? Motion passed. Third is a resolution authorizing the Family Assistance Department to submit an application. Ms. Shophouse.
This is a resolution authorizing the Family Assistance Department to application to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for Residential Energy Assistance Challenge grant. So I'll put that in form of motion. Second.
Motion made second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no? Motion passed. Fourth item is an act authorizing the comprehensive budget for fiscal year 2004. Ms. O'Leary.
That's the obvious one. This is the Legislative Act LA 3003, authorizing comprehensive budget for fiscal year 04, Model 11, declaring an emergency. This will be the final modification of the year, and it increases the budget by $1,535,124 for a total budget authority of $332,561,878, and I put that in form of motion.
Second. Motion made second.
Mr. President. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer a friendly amendment to increase our modification in 3 separate line items. My motion would be to increase account number 4200.00 by $20,000. Account number 7900.01 by $80,000. And indirect costs in the amount of $16,432. These additional funds will come out of the contingency reserve, and we've already visited with our Secretary of Treasury.
I will accept.
Motion is made second. Is everybody in agreement with those modifications? Okay. Any more questions or discussion? All in favor? Roll call, please. You know how to run. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the question was on the general fund, get out vote, Was that the amount that was passed in the committee?
No, that's what I'm asking for, additional funding. Where one will be increased 20,000, one 80,000, and the indirect costs of that will be 16,432 for a total increase of 116,432.
And it's coming out of where?
The contingency reserve. Callie's here to address it if she needs to.
Can you just, I know you named the codes, but can you tell us where that's going?
Yes, this is going into the additional Get Out the Vote program that the Cherokee Nation currently has underway, and for contributions and donations. But to be administered by the Subcommittee of Executive Finance and the Chief's Office, or the Chief.
On that, it's going to, that's for the private contributions and individual candidate,
No, it's not all going to that. It's going to also our general Get Out the Vote program that we have going on.
That's the lobbying 712.
I don't know if the lobbying 712 is involved in this one, but we do have dollars set aside for that.
And the committee will be set up to disperse that money.
That's correct.
Roll call vote, please.
Bill England,
Yes.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Audrey Connor,
Yes.
Carol Callen,
Yes.
Joe Pittman,
Yes.
Mary Fraley,
Yes.
Tom Garvin,
Yes.
Charles Thompson,
Yes.
William Johnson,
Yes.
Sean Keenan,
Yes.
Linda O'Leary,
No.
Becky Bob Martin,
Yes.
Nobody Shophouse,
No.
David Thornton,
Yes.
Bill Cherokee,
Yes.
That passed 13-2. Item number 5 is an act authorizing and approving a fiscal year 2005 budget and declaring an emergency. Mr. O'Leary.
This is our 05 budget. We worked very hard, but didn't have to put in near as many hours as we did last year. And it's a complete total comprehensive budget, and we're starting out with budget authority of $277,494,699, and staff I move for its approval.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bill England,
Yes.
Bill John Baker,
Yes.
Audrey Connor,
Yes.
Carol Callen,
Yes.
Joe Pittman,
Yes.
Mary Fraley,
Yes.
Tom Garvin,
Yes.
Charles Thompson,
Yes.
William Johnson,
Yes.
Sean Keenan,
Yes.
Linda O'Leary,
Yes.
Becky Bob Martin,
Yes.
Nobody Shophouse,
Yes.
David Thornton,
Yes.
Bill Cherokee,
Yes.
Vote is unanimous. That passed. Item 6 is a resolution authorizing submission of an application to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Mr. Quigley.
Thank you, Mr. President. This goes to Health and Human Services, the Office of Minority Health, for a health screening for Cherokee women. The amount of the grant is $199,997. There's no cash match, and I would move for approval.
Second. Motion made, second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no? Motion carried. Item number 7 is a resolution authorizing a grant partnership with the University of Arkansas. Mr. Martin.
Mr. President, this is Cherokee Nation Natural Resource Department is requesting Cherokee Nation Tribal Council for permission to enter into a sub-grant award partnership with the University of Arkansas. This grant will provide the outreach program with $30,000 to be used to provide outreach services and disseminate risk management information to tribal farmers and ranchers. Outreach meetings are currently held throughout 14 county areas, and there's no tribal match required for this. Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 8 is a resolution authorizing the placement of land in trust. Mr. Martin.
This resolution authorizes the placement of trust of a tract of land containing 280 acres, more or less. The land is located approximately 5 miles east of Claremore, along the north boundary of Oklahoma State Highway 20. Currently owned by Cherokee Nation Enterprise Incorporated, Will Rogers Dam, video for horse racing and recreation vehicle activity. I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 9 is a resolution authorizing a grant easement on right-of-way for the Cherokee Tribal Trust Land. Mr. Martin.
Thank you. This tax resolution is a grant of easement right of way across Cherokee Nation tribal land for access to the home site of Rubus Way and enter to the restricted land. I move for approval.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 10 is a resolution authorizing a grant easement for right-of-way over Cherokee Tribal Trust Land.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll not read the whole thing. This provides access for a home site located on Kenneth and David Ford property. They were given a temporary easement in May of 1993. The road has been there since then, and they have been waiting for a permanent easement since 1993. The Ford are willing to give Cherokee Nation access to tribal land that adjoins their property, and I will move for approval.
Motion made second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 11 is a resolution authorizing Cherokee Nation Environmental Programs to submit a formal grant application. Mr. Martin.
The Cherokee Nation Environmental Program Group, EPG, is requesting finance assistance from EPA Region 6 in the amount of $100,000 to provide technical assistance on solid waste management planning to Kenneth Tribal Environmental Council members tribe. There's no match required for this, and I'll move for approval.
Motion is made and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 12 is a resolution authorizing a limited waiver of sovereign immunity of the Cherokee Nation. Mr. Martin.
Mr. President, allow Ms. Councilman Fraser to do this.
This resolution authorizes a limited waiver of sovereign immunity covering an agreement with Caterpillar for the lease purchase of an excavator, a track-type tractor, and a backhoe loader. The waiver covers only certain remedies in the event the Cherokee Nation should default under the terms of the agreement, and such as specific performance, weapon, or attachment, and I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion made second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no?
No.
Roll call vote, please.
Bill Eagle.
Yes.
Tom Baker.
Yes.
Alder Connor. Yes. Sheriff Howard. Yes. Joe Quicken.
Yes.
Mary Fraser. Yes. John Bradley.
Yes.
Paul Coster.
Yes.
William Johnson.
Yes.
John Keener.
Yes.
Linda O'Leary. Yes. Jesse Bell Martin.
Yes.
Laverne Shoptown. David Clayton.
No.
Bill George. Yes.
Motion passed 13-2. Item number 13 is a legislative act establishing requirements and procedures for tribal council and its committees to enter executive session. Ms. President.
This legislation provides specific requirements for the tribal council and its committees to go into executive session, and all of these executive sessions will be recorded, and the only way those will be made available is through a court order. This act does not, however, prevent tribal council from privately meeting to obtain sensitive or proprietary information, provided that a quorum is not established at such meetings. And I would move for approval.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Mr. Zorn?
I'd like to know what additions does this add to the Constitution of Cherokee Nation? Is this vary from the Constitution in any way?
No, sir, it's not. Those three requirements are still required as stated in the Constitution.
Why are we presenting this act?
It was requested that this be presented, and the court is waiting on one particular lawsuit to see if the legislation is established before deciding on that particular lawsuit.
I can't understand why the legislation has to be established because it's a Constitution. It's in the Constitution.
I don't know. I think that request is.
Okay. Come with it.
Mr. West.
David, I think the only thing that they're changing or adding to this is that it be recorded in case there is a lawsuit. It won't go back to he said, she said. The court can actually listen to the tape and decide what everybody really said. And I think this adds some more teeth to the admonishments.
No more questions?
Yes, Madam President, thank you. I have a question. It says in the act, it says sealed. How are we going to seal it? Are we going to do it with a labeled number seal, that if the seal is broken, that it will obviously be known that the tape has been tampered with outside of the court system requesting it? How are we going to do that? Are we just going to put it in a Ziploc bag, or?
I think it'll be a Ziploc bag, but I think it'll be permanent, taped over so that you can tell it's been open, and put it in a safe place.
That's one more question. Thank you.
Ms. Calhoun?
Thank you. I think that Councilman England has a valid concern, so whatever the remedy internally that we decide on at the council house, I would be more comfortable that I've physically got to see what these labels look like and stuff to ensure that information that might affect an individual tribal citizen as being for an executive session is not made available for some reason to other folks. So I'm requesting that at this point, I guess, as part of the list, as part of the consideration, that it should be in the minutes and noted that I'm requesting it.
Any other questions or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bill England?
Yes.
Bill Baker?
Yes.
Tommy Thomas? Yes. Jerry Collins? Yes. Jay Kendall?
Yes.
Meredith Wade? Yes. John Gordon?
Yes.
Charles Thompson?
Yes.
William Johnson?
Yes.
John Keener?
Yes.
Linda O'Leary?
Yes.
Jackie Bob Martin?
Yes.
Nobody Shoptown? No. David Gordon?
No.
Phil Georgie?
Yes.
Motion passed 12-3. Next, we come to the nominations. Ms. Bradley?
Mr. President and the tribal council, if you agree, we have several confirmations here, and I'll pronounce them according to the Board of Commission and ask for your approval and so if you agree to that.
So 3 minutes.
Of the council.
Let's go vote on all at once.
Okay,
Does the council agree to that?
Yes.
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 Mr. President.
Go on, please.
Items 14 and 15 cover the nomination of Dwayne Marshall and Foreman Ross as board members of Sequoia High School Board of Education. Items 16 and 17 cover nominations of Jerry Gunter and Shannon Fisher as commissioners of the Cherokee Nation Gaming Commission. And items 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 cover the nominations of certain members to the Cherokee Nation Business Board, Incorporated Board of Directors. This newly established business board governs all Cherokee Nation business activities, and the following persons are nominated to fill those board positions. They are David Tipiconic, Bill Grass Jr., Milford Hart Jr., Jay Hanna, and Lloyd Armstrong as board members of the Cherokee Nation Business Incorporated Board of Directors. And I put all of those nominations to you for approval.
Motion made, second. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no?
Mr. President, if we have those people stand and be recognized?
Yes, we do. Okay. Ms. Fisher?
Shannon Fisher, South Oklahoma.
Is that it? Thank you very much. Welcome to Cherokee Nation. Thank you, Councilor. Item 23 is a resolution in support of state question 712. Ms. Franklin.
The purpose of this legislation is to lend support to state question 712, which is the education jobs referendum, which comes up for vote in November. And as Mr. Stewart indicated in the CME report, this clarifies the games tribes can operate. And passage of 712 will cover schools, the economy, tribal citizens, and 50,000 farm and racetrack workers. We will be joining other tribes in support of this state question 712, and I move for approval. Second.
Motion made, second. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. President.
Ms. Callen.
Councilor Brandon and I were able to attend Creek Nation's emergency council meeting that they had concerning this because they have division on their council. And I have great concern because it was apparent and obvious from that meeting that there is even division within Indian country in Oklahoma about state question 712. So if you, as an individual tribal citizen, your family or friends of their tribal citizens or not, if they have concerns and don't understand quite what the media is trying to discuss about the issue, please call one of us on the council or Cherokee Nation Enterprises or the Gaming Commission or Chad or someone, because we need your vote. I believe personally that this is going to be a close vote in November. That vote's on November 2nd. We need you to get out to vote. And also, the deadline for voter registration for November 2nd, I believe, is Friday, October 8th. So we need you, your family, your friends, your neighbors, and everyone to register to vote and to get to the polls on that Tuesday or to walk in. If you don't know what a walk-in absentee vote is, you can walk in the weekend prior or the Monday prior to the Tuesday election and vote, as well as apply for an absentee mail-in ballot. This is critical. It's critical to the future of the Cherokee Nation. There's a lot of revenue, not just for the tribe, but for the state of Oklahoma. Scott Meacham, the negotiator for Governor Henry, made it very apparent during this meeting that the $71 million, I believe, that is committed to education is committed already by Oklahoma, by the state. That $71 million, he explained, gave, both my parents are teachers. This comes very close to my home in this issue. They already committed to those dollars. That's what raised teacher salaries in Oklahoma to the regional average. Just to get us to the regional average, we're typically 49th or 50th. They've committed those dollars. They don't know where they're going to get those dollars. So all of us as taxpayers are going to be affected. Our schools are going to be affected because those regional salary levels for those teachers that they deserve and are much needed. we won't have funding for it. Also, they brought additional monies for the teachers to have health care benefits. They used those $71 million to pay for their monthly co-pays or those things, and that's been very expensive in the past for teachers and what little salary they make. So whether or not people believe in gaming or horse racing, we have other issues at heart as Oklahomans that say question 712, and it's imperative that we each get to the polls. And some of the folks that are against that question 712 are trying to create confusion around these issues and muddle it using mainstream media outlets. So that concerns me, and I know that I'm going to commit a lot of my time to making sure state question 712 is effective at the grassroots level. So if we can explain that to you and get you this additional information, we would be happy to. And I think each one of us is vested in that, whether we even support this resolution or not, because it's part of our job. So thank you for that challenge.
Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, no?
No.
Roll call vote.
Bill Engel,
Yes.
Joe Baker,
Yes.
Barbara Coleman, yes. Carol Kelly,
Yes.
Joe Quinton,
Yes.
Mary Craig, yes. John Gordon,
Yes.
Charles Hawkins,
Yes.
William Johnson,
Yes.
John Keener,
Yes.
Linda Leary,
No.
Jacob Martin,
Yes.
Joanne Shophouse,
No.
David Gordon,
Yes.
Phil Georgie,
Yes.
Motion passed 13-2. Item 24, the legislative act authorizing the self-help contribution policy. Ms. President.
Mr. President, we have here a corrected copy of this particular legislation, and the correction is made in red. What this legislation does is provide for program assistance to contribute back to the community. And as we all know, the demands on our programs and services have gone beyond current budget levels, and this legislation would help overcome this problem by enhancing our ability to extend our resources further and serve more Cherokee citizens. Passage of this act will create a policy whereby all future programs and services address whether the participants in the programs can contribute back to the community or the programs in the manner of self-help contribution. A waiver, however, will be considered for those with physical or mental incapacity to perform a community service or contribution match. And I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Mr. President. Mr. Hopkins.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to offer a friendly amendment. The corrected copy is the one that was approved at our committee meetings. It requires any type of self-help community service or contributions to be presented for review and approval to the standing committees of the council, the 7 standing committees. And Chief Smith conveyed the hope that we could attach a time limit to this so we could make it in a timely fashion available to our individual citizens and make sure that we treat every citizen as fairly as possible. So that being said, I would like to ask for a time limit of 15 days in which we review and approve or reject these recommendations.
I'll accept that, Mr. President.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the 15 days, but so many times things come up right after committee, and rather than call a special committee, if we would take the criminal amendment 30 days, and that way we're always in the system.
I would accept that.
As the second to the motion, I'll accept 30, but not 15.
Okay, 30.
Okay. Yeah. If we make 30 days, it's probably a little better.
Thank you, Chair.
I'll accept that.
We have a minute for 30 days. With that, is there any more questions or discussion? Go for it.
Ms. Jones?
Mr. President. I just wanted to comment because I firmly believe in this legislation, but I know at the same time it's going to be painful for all of us involved over the next year or two as we work out the actual logistics of creating self-help components to each program. Because realize now, I mean, we're talking the scholarship programs, every program and service provided to Cherokee Nation, we will be looking for ways to make our dollars go farther in the community by people participating and giving in kind time and effort and skills to back to the community in order to receive these services and programs. So please, I'm asking to actually please be patient with us and work with us and have open dialogue and discussion with each of us in order for us to come to the best logistical solution. Because we're not always affected as individuals with these services and programs, but we know you are. So please come back to us and let us know if things aren't working, but we're going to try to give it our best shot first time around, and then we know we're going to have to work out all the kinks, I guess, put it that way. So, and I just would appreciate open dialogue. Instead of getting upset about it, there will be opportunities for change, but we just need to know what that is to change. So, thank you.
Any more questions or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bill Allen.
Yes.
Bill Conway.
Yes.
Audrey Palmer. Yes. Carol Thomas.
Yes.
Bill Clinton.
Yes.
Mary Flanagan. Yes. John Rogers.
Yes.
Charles Hoskin.
Yes.
Mary Johnson.
Yes.
John Keener.
Yes.
Linda O'Leary. No. Jeffrey L. Martin.
Yes.
Yolanda Shothouse. No. David Ford.
Yes.
Bill Georges. No.
Motion for the act passed, 12 to 3. Are there any announcements?
Mr. President, Labor Day, the Cherokee changed to Southpaw. Next weekend, they'll be in Bartlesville. It's our Summer Indian Festival, art show. We're gonna have a good time, so we're gonna invite all Cherokee, it'll be Cherokee, Delaware, Osage. So come up and we'll have a big time. Thank you, Mr. President.
Ms. Fraser.
Mr. President, I'd like to recognize some people here, some good Cherokees from Maine County. Julie Stradlin. Julie works in the Contact Health at the Salina Clinic, and her sister Geraldine Martin, also known as Bud. She works for me in Locust Grove, and can really cook good chicken. And Sandra Vinbaut. Sandra works in the Cherokee Nation Housing Authority, and she's been there how many years, Sandra? 29 years. And Mr. Paul Adair, if you stand, please. They are really involved in Cherokee politics in Mays County, and they're very good workers. And I'd also like to acknowledge that Miss Cherokee is also from Mays County.
Anybody special?
Pardon me?
Is she related to anybody special?
Yeah, he is. He's one of my best cousins. Can you tell where she gets her look?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've been asked to make one announcement. The Native American Sister Circle Breast Cancer Survivor Support Group, it's a mouthful in itself, is sponsoring a Genesis Taco Dinner and Gospel Singing. This Saturday, September 18th at 6 o'clock, will be here in the community room behind the restaurant. And $5 to get a taco, drink, dessert. And for more information, one of the contact people is here to Ruby Wells. If you want more information on that. And also, Mr. Baker and I had a community meeting out at Tags a couple weeks ago, and I hadn't had the opportunity, but I just wanted to thank all of the departments that came to share information about what the services Cherokee Nation provides for its citizens. And although we had more employees than citizens, we're going to work on it, because I said I'd bring community meetings out to the community, and I will continue if I have to see 5 people or 55, so, next focus area, hopefully, is the Dry Creek area, but I don't have a date, we don't have a date set yet, so, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had our first Rogers County Cherokee Association monthly meeting yesterday. It was pretty well attended, and we will have our next standing meeting. It's going to be the second Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m., and it should rotate throughout the county. It'll be October 12th is the next Rogers County Cherokee Association meeting, and anyone that wants to attend can contact me, and I'll give them the information. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I yield.
The next council meeting is October the 11th. Motion made second, all in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, no.